Nobody is supposed to point fingers at a parent that has tied their child in the house. You leave this child, you're going for a casual job, you leave them free, you get them fallen and hurting themselves. So you find tying them is the best thing. You go and come back and untie them as you are allowed. So I wouldn't like people to continue pointing fingers, because if people have not been there to understand what we need and try to implement it, and there is the capacity, our government have the capacity. When a parent have a special child, you are equally special or even more special. They use us as they are doing their campaigns. Then when they get in office, you even try to reach them. They don't even pretend to be knowing what you are talking about. It feels so bad knowing that you gave birth to that child, not because you are a prostitute. You went to church, you got married, but when the challenge came, the man could not bear it. There is a very, very, very special group I must attack. This is an attack. And it's a painful attack. Our families, please. Sometimes we feel so disowned when we get ourselves with such children. And much is said from the least sources we expect, like our families. My name is Beatrice Mwangi, and I am a mother of 2 children, Jemima, who is in her 14th year and cerebral palsy survivor, and Manasseh Muhotani, who is in his 12th year. He's in the CBC grade 6 class, and fortunately this year I'll be celebrating my 10th year as a single mother. The father got tired on 2012 and decided that he could not walk again with us. And it has not been an easy journey. It has been a journey of sorrows and tears, a journey of loneliness and darkness. But I thank God who preserves lives. This far, I still know that he has bottles of our tears. And one thing I know is that I really have wept. In my life, I have wept. I know I have gone hungry, because sometimes when I could not afford food for me and my children, whatever little I could afford, I could feed my children and maybe wait for the next day if I could get enough food. I have done casual jobs. I have tied my daughter in the house to just go and look for the casual jobs. And not once or twice have gotten her not in bed. I left her tied in the bed, but she threw herself off because sometimes the scissors has been shaking her a lot. She gets scissors alone in the house, and then she converses and falls down after the shakings. Then when I'm coming, I'm looking for the baby. She's nowhere. She's under the bed. She has cried until she can cry no more. So I can say that before I met with Moments with Justus, I had experienced all the ruthless kind of experience that one can face in life. I can say I was stripped of friends. I can say I didn't feel like I had a family, because sometimes they think all is well with you and they don't understand what you're going through. And what I can say is that my life was a life of just darkness, a life that I was only encouraging hope. And I know one of the things I can say is that believing in the Bible, the supreme word of God, has kept me going even when nothing else has, because I could encourage myself. I could ask myself, like David, my soul, why are you downcast within me? And I will yet praise the God of my life, even in that darkness. And let me say, my life has now changed. Even though I'm not there where I wish to be, there are a lot of changes, because things like cleaning the feces are out of my life. I am able to do diaper. I'm no longer cleaning clothes without soap as I used to do before. I am now able to purchase water because where I live in Naivasha, we do buy water. And so I have seen the faithfulness of God through those that listened to my cry and any kind of response, whether in encouragement, whether in monitoring, whether in just speaking words of encouragement audibly, it has really lifted my heart. I didn't used to sleep because my baby would not sleep at night. And so in the morning, she sleeps, then I just wake up and wonder, will I sleep because she has slept? And they are still waiting for me. There are those feces, not like today that I can do a diaper and just put it in a bin. I could wonder, if she sleeps and I sleep, then what will they eat? I have tried several things. As I told you in my former story, I have done casual jobs. I have tried to ripen bananas and take them loud where people doesn't see my child. I have tried to put a business where I'm sitting with my children. And now when some customers see your child, maybe you are feeding her, she's not feeding the right way, she's pouring food all over to her, on herself. Again, they get fed up of you, and now you are left with your business there. Even the new customers, after they know your child, they depart. But as of today, I thank God so much. Actually, let me say that when Justus visited my home, my house, and now I think first of all, I began by asking them some questions. And it is like they had come for me to interview them. It is like you people had come for me to interview you. And I was like, I was not ready to share my story because of what I was already going through. And then I didn't know what you wanted to do with my story. You remember the struggle we had, because I actually didn't know what you wanted to do with my story. But then I also didn't expect. I thought because it was a cerebral palsy month, October, I thought that maybe you people want just to let people know this is a month of cerebral palsy, and yeah, so I thought it was an awareness thing. And so after the 2 weeks, then you told me you are hearing my story. Me, I didn't have any expectation. I thought that the story is just being aired because it is an awareness month so that people can be aware. But surprisingly, I was in a shock. I must say, I wept. I really wept. And you remember me calling you because the first sender, I have never deleted those messages. The first sender sent me 3,000. To me, that was like now 1 million. Because there were so many things that I was seeing now. I will clear. I knew I would clear the medicine. The house rent was, I had reached a point where I was like, if they chase me, I'm used to being chased from houses. And I had decided, I can just go with my things and camp somewhere and cover ourselves with a paper. I had reached to that point. But now, immediately you heard the story. I didn't sleep counting that the house has any debt. And so, again, I had a sleepless night because it was like another dream. I thought I was in a dream. So I could look at what was happening and the responses. And I didn't have a phone. Now, I didn't have a smartphone. I only have a phone that was able to receive M-Pesa. And I started seeing M-Pesa, and I was like, what did I really say to people? What did I really throw to the public? That was another shock. Because one of the things that the Lord has put in me, and I don't know how I can call it, is like, I don't like begging. Me, even when I am in my very raw moments, I have always asked God to make me bold. Even when I'm appearing people, I know how to sleep hungry. But then, after this story was aired, it's like now God opened me to the remnants. And to be precise, I think I've met God's best. Met God's best creation. They have encouraged me. I didn't even know. I'm very sorry for those maybe who are commenting in the social media. I didn't know how to go to the reprise. And so I didn't know there is a place where people are commenting of what after they watch the story. And so it was after some weeks that I knew how to go about it. So when I went and led the stories, the reprise, some of them were so encouraging. And I was in another shock. Are they talking about me? Telling me that I am a strong mother, God will see me through, telling me all the good things that I have not heard from the community. And again, those replies has also energized me. And now even looking after my children has become like, it's not just a responsibility. It's not just a ministry. It's like a work I'm being paid for. Because my viewers kind of turned out to be very encouraging. And I don't know the best word to use. Because some of them spoke very big things about me and made me feel like all this time I've been crying, God was keeping them somewhere to just one day come and give me a reason to live. And as I had told you earlier, all what I was going through, and then I didn't have people to share with. I was feeling, sometimes I could really tell God, I'm sanctifying my life. God, please, if there is anything you can do, and come for me with my children. Because then I had even lost trust to any close person that I thought that I could live. If today I died, who could take care of my children? So I was asking God, why don't you sanctify me and take me with my children? Just very clean and very politely. Without, it's not a murder, it's not a suicide. So I was in some things, in some dilemmas that I didn't know how to get out of them. But my viewers, every of my viewers, have not received people who have been discouraging me. And I appreciate every viewer of my story. Everyone that commented on my story, I want to say a big God bless you. You have given me new strength, and you have allowed me now to watch and see what the Lord can do. I knew that, I knew whatever the Bible says that, you know, like David used to say, I will not die. I will see the Lord in the land, the doings of the Lord in the land of the living. But then what I was going through before my story was aired had given me a reason to now not want to wait and see the Lord in the land of the living, but I wanted to depart and wait for what God will do for me after judgment. But I thank God so much. Every of my viewers has been, they have preached hope, they have revived life, and they have given me a reason to even become a blessing to many. I see, okay, I have not yet gotten time to be so much on social media because the responsibilities are still very much weighing. But the little moment I get, I go through the comments, and I want to appreciate each one of them. Sometimes words of my mouth may fail because my heart is, I even tell God to fill me with gratitude because I am like living in a dream. Because when I don't think there is nobody's physics I can't clean, because it had gotten to become a life that I was almost getting used to. And I even wonder today how I used to do it. But I'm very grateful to God for everyone that came out and believed in me believed in what they listened to me. And I want to thank God for all of you. And I want to tell you that the God who has blessed you continue to doing you good, because you have put a smile from the heart, a smile from the depth of our hearts. Even my son is also able to be happy. We used to eat the things that we are taking on the shop for the selling because they are getting rotten. Again, it's the money you don't have. If you take a blade, it takes a week there, and nobody is coming to buy. The little you get on those casual jobs, you come and put them on the shop. No customers, you eat them when they are almost rotten. Sometimes we didn't even used to cook. You buy a bale of unga by the cashew money you get, you're there with it for a whole month end. And so I am here for those that have heard me before and for those that are listening to me for the first time. I'm here to say that God answers even those deep prayers that we pray in the darkness. And with a sincere and a gratitude heart, I don't know, I even sometimes don't understand how to go about it to thank God enough, because there are some people who have taken upon themselves to see to it that we get diaper. As I had said before, even pads was something of the past. And those were now luxuries. And mostly when I saw God is not taking us home, I was feeling for my daughter, because the more we were not affording therapy, the more she was becoming stiff. The more we were not affording therapy, the more she was becoming bad. And so after this, we have been able to go for medicines without debt. Actually, we were always going for medicine. Every time we could go and pay half. Then the medicines are over, time to go for others have come. We don't have the half to clear the other time. So the half we have, we go. We are told we have cleared the other time. Now we live another. So, and that was like now our living habit. Surprisingly, by the time the story was ending, my friends called me because I had Kamuli Kamwisi. They called me and told me they have listened to my whole story. And after like 3 minutes, I started receiving money, and direct to my number. And what surprised me is that when I called you, you told me that that was my money. I must let you know that that night was like a dreaming night, despite having sleepless moments. And I was so sleepy, and also my girl does not sleep, so that night was not a night to just get into bed. It was a night of contemplating whether what I'm seeing is the truth. Getting money I have not worked for, people I don't know, and I don't know. The feeling was beyond what I can really explain. What I felt was beyond what I could handle, because I remember even my son, they don't pay a big school fees because he is in a public school. But the teacher could write a note, I could write a note back to keep waiting, just as I used to talk to the caretaker. And sometimes there were those nasty answers that I could not bear. Sometimes I could hear him and get in the house, refuse to answer his call. He calls, he knocks. I refuse to answer. But when I saw the response immediately after my story was aired to my number, money that was being sent to my number, I remember calling Justus and asking him, what have I to do with this? Did I beg? I remember asking you whether I begged from people, because before I slept, people had responded. And so when now this began, it has been like people took upon themselves to see that they are encouraging me. They are finding out. Are you still going for therapies? And that is why I like letting people know, even those that did something once and they just went silent. I want to appreciate all of you, because it is you who ignited. It is you who ignited the journey for us. And that is how we have been able to get regular therapists. That is how we have been, whatever little we get, because there are those who still find out and maybe chip in even after that day. And you are, whatever little or big you did, and maybe for those that are still doing it, it has enabled us to have therapy. At least there are no more caries. There are no more caries for now. Now these are 8 years down the line, 8 months down the line, and I've not been mocked by the caretaker any longer. But your generosity has helped me. For those who have been there, it has helped me at least to try and change the face of the business from foodstuffs slowly by slowly. Because, as I said before, I have had so much through my daughter. I have had enough of what can make you feel you don't want to see another day. So, for now, I'm still trusting God to get me also in a busy place, maybe where I can also get to attend to her, because the place I am is still not very active business-wise. Psychologically, I am no longer tortured. I used to appear very strong before people. After I cry the whole night, you hear I'm not sleeping, and I'm not making any money in the business. And then morning comes, I'm so sleepy, I'm not even able to eat because I have a nausea because of the sleep. That is what sleep does to me. Sometimes I could just stand and fall. I'm not feeling any pain, but it's like I could get some blackouts. And so the way people came in and started talking to me, the psychological torture began to go down. And as I'm speaking today, I'm not where I was. I am better by far, and I thank God, because I know it is God who began this good work. And I know He is the one who will bring it into completion. I have gotten sisters on this platform. I have connected with my sisters in the world. I've connected with mothers. I've connected with fathers and brothers. And I must say that I have a family now. Not just in Kenya. I am connected to the world. Actually, some of the things that can make you fear God more is that I don't think there is no part of the world that I have not had somebody to communicate to me. And some of them are just there telling me, I don't have anything to give to you, but I want to encourage you. I work for such people. You hear somebody from UK telling you, me, I work for such people. The government takes good care of these parents and the children, but I must tell you, this is a very hard job. You are doing a good job. For now, I have no support, but I tell you, keep up. And that alone energizes me. I remember this, I say they are my sisters, and she was telling me, I work in UK, and I take care of such children. Their parents are even taken out for trips. They are even taken out for counseling. We are taking care of their children. They are provided with everything. but they are still mentally tortured. Now, how they tell me, now they make me look at God in another dimension. And I have realized that God has allowed some dunamis in the parents of such children in Kenya. Because now, she was describing to me how they do, what care the government takes for these families, but still the parents go under torture, mental torture, because of thinking about their children. So I must say that kudos to my family in the diaspora. They have given me enough strength to stand. They have given me, sometimes it does not mean that I don't have moments. Sometimes in the morning of therapy it comes, and as I was saying, you know that my girl is big. So I enter a matatu. I don't want to untie her because when I come off from the matatu, when I alight, who will put her back on my back? So I've been carrying her, and the note has been lying here. Sometimes I get numb, the heart gets numb. But then, when I remember there's somebody who is remembering that that this child needs to go for therapy, I get more strength. When I remember that somebody is out there thinking about her diaper, I get more strength. I've also gone through therapy. I've been going through therapy because at some point this had got numb because of the way when I turn her from the back, the knob was been sitting here. But I thank God, when some people still had this, they are concerned. They want me to get a means of transport. Though I don't have any money that I have kept aside, but I have been getting what has been keeping us going. And as I've said, I have also tried to change the face of the business. I have some stock that now I'm praying for customers or for a place where they can move. I need God to fill my mouth with the real praises about his remnant. I call them remnants. Because I wonder, how was I meeting only the bad people before? I was meeting, people were just bad for no good reason, although they were also helping me to soul search. Like the Bible says in the book of Isaiah 55, that the ways of God are too high from our ways and his thoughts are too high from our thoughts. You see, when people heard my story, they were congratulating me because of taking good care of my daughter. Whereas I knew I had to do everything. I had to go to any heights to see to it that my children are getting the best. So I was surprised that people were surprised that I'm doing a lot for my child, which is a responsibility that I know if I don't do, there might be some judgment against me. But now people took it very positively that I was going to that extent. I was so surprised to see people appreciating so much what I'm doing, whereas we are so many. And some of the people are even much worse than me. But some of them lack information, and that is why I always say that in our nation, we need people who can go out there and appreciate these people. Like myself, I've been encouraging the parents aloud because it is not that my case is was the worst, or is the worst. But there are those who take it like a curse. They don't even want to be seen with their children. But now the way the world took it for me is an indicator that there is a very big gap between we, the caregivers and the guardians and parents, and how maybe the community could respond. Although in our Kenya, not so many of us live among people who are encouraging you. Yeah, some of us, you even visit a parent and you hear, if you are seen maybe basking your child in the sun, you are told, you just do what you can do. But this kind of children does not go for more than 10 years. Now again, you have the fear. You hide your child. But I got shocked at how the world responded, because I have also had my dark moments with the people. And that is why I'm saying I'm dealing with God's remnant, and I know there are still many more out there. There are still many more remnants out there who can hear about our children. There are so many. There are so many parents who are, not everybody can hear. Sometimes me, I could make a bad joke. You talk about, I remember like when I was chased in that house, I told that husband and wife, as I was taking my things, it was a long case because the chief had to be involved. And the chief had said they should not chase me until she says, but then I couldn't spend there. It was a harassing moment. I remember telling that couple, I only pray that God allows you to know that I did not apply to do this job, which is too difficult. And I was telling them in tears. So not every parent will have the guts. You know, sometimes you go through hard things until you are not wondering what people will do after you say you are hurt. So I told that couple, I did not apply to do this difficult job I'm doing. I only got myself into it as I was leaving their plot. But some other parents are told things. Instead of maybe, I know at some point me I've acted mad. I know at some point in life I've acted mad because of the harshness of life and then the surrounding. This is a child. You also had not met any in your family. You know, sometimes you asked even questions in hospital. You will have to answer the doctor. Then you go out there and you get to a point whereby you only need God now because of these questions. Maybe you are getting even from some spiritual authorities. And you get to a point where now you only want God. And not everybody is able to make some decisions. As I have told you, I have made the Bible my friend. And this is one of the things. For everyone that is hearing, and for everyone that will ever hear, a believer or a non-believer, the word of God is true. And he has his moments of lifting. He has his moments of paining. When God decides to wound you, he can wound you because he has taken me through that process. And that is why I'm wondering, when I get this encouragement, and at some point I was getting people who are only negative about me, even if they will not talk, you'll pass and they will have some expressions. And it's like I was not meeting any good people that season. I was like, the exposure I was getting was only negative. And so I just believe the word of God so much because his word says that he wounds and he heals. And to get to that moment for parents, some of them are still in the wounding process. And they are wounded. And I think if there does not come up people, like the one that has come my way and are still going to come, you can collapse on the way before your time. Me, I know there are many people who maybe have died before their time because of the environment and the hostility they have faced. And there are some people who are no longer sober. They don't have a sober mind because maybe they are, during their wounding process that God took them, they didn't have they were not able to draw the strength from God. And somehow they collapse on the way, or maybe they become depressed. We have so many parents who are depressed. They have such a child, but then they are also affected. They are mentally affected. And I thank God for some characteristic. I have realized through these people that have been encouraging me. I read some of their comments and I'm like, huh? You're talking about me? Hey, you are strong inside out. And I'm like, okay. So even when I'm facing somebody to encourage them, because I have had my moments to cry. Me, I know there are times I could put a towel a towel under my head because I'm not sleeping. My baby is just doing her things. I don't have to. I can't sleep because if I sleep before she sleeps, I'm going to collect her. She jumps the pillows you have done on the side and she will fall. You saw how I make her bed. She has been sleeping on a hole. But I thank God. Those things, the Lord is helping us to overcome one by one. Jemima is no longer having those bed sores. Yeah, because sometimes, you know, you clean those clothes without soap. Then you put her, you are going for that kibarua, you want to go for a casual work that will take 3-4 hours. By the time you're coming, she has urinated, she has excreted, she has now the wood. They have already undone the skin. So by the time you are coming back, now you have again, even that oil, you don't have to apply, to keep applying her. But today, I thank God that we are not cleaning clothes without soap, we are not cleaning feces, we are not going for medicine without money. Since you heard that story, at least I don't have a debt in hospital where we were going for the anti-conversion medicines. Since you heard that story, Jemima has been going for therapy. Okay, at first we were affording one, but now we are struggling, we are affording twice a week. You know, it's supposed to be, the doctors, I call it sarcastic, because the doctors tells us that they are supposed to be seen, the government doctors, they are supposed to have therapists 3 times a week, but then you are given once a month, and maybe you will not have it. The doctor may be one, or they may be having a meeting, so you will have it after 3 months or 4. Then they tell you that is like food, it should be regular, but you don't have the money, the government is doing nothing about it. Anyway, it has not been easy. If there is a docket that is totally forgotten, and this one is painful to say, when we have a structured government, it's so painful to say this. If there are people who are forgotten, they are the bedridden. Those who are, I understand the old people are how many thousands, how many millions in Kenya, those that are given the monthly 2,000 shillings. But for the disability, because like now, I wonder what the government think about the parents, because I think even for the marriages that have broken, if our structured government could have had some psychosocial, how can I say, counseling, the families could be holding together. It feels so bad knowing that you gave birth to that child, not because you are a prostitute. You went to church, you got married, but when the child came, the man could not bear it. So it feels so discouraging. You hear in other countries, these families are taken care of. It's almost like any family can feel that they would like to have a special child in those other countries. But here, you wonder, what does the government think about the families that has? Because it affects both parents. What do they think about those parents that has gotten a special child that is bedridden, and they were both working? I have seen those that were even working with the government. And maybe one of them decided to step down to look after the child. And now the torture of mind, maybe if they hold together, the torture of mind of the one who remains in job, knowing that now he is the one who is to do everything that money should do. What is our government thinking about such families? And then, what is it thinking about the broken families because of such cases? And above it all, what are they thinking about these children who are just bedridden and their parents cannot go to make the normal income, that is supposed to be made for sustainability, even for the basic? What do they have in mind, at the back of their mind? What do they have? What plans or what can they implement for such families? So it is hurting because it is not everybody. Now I appreciate that I can speak. Because me, even in my annoyance, I will speak. I will speak because I remember, you hear like the way I told the landlord. It is not something. So somebody else will be told that. They will close themselves in the house. They will weep day and night. And if such a person is a single mother, what do you expect? We have so many deaths of these special children. In fact, like in Naivasha, the death of these children has risen. And now I have been asking myself, could it be this parent got to a place where they are not able to expose their children anymore? And maybe the mind torture, because once you are stressed, you transfer your stress to your child. This is something I knew when the father had not left. We used to go to Kenyatta for clinics. I'm stressed. My baby is conversing. We are on the line. Everybody has the same problem. You cannot be past the line. I could get stressed. The child could cry until the doctor comes out and tells me, Mama, just don't be stressed. You are the one who is stressing your child. But how will you when your child is just dying on your hands? So, and they used to give us some counseling there in Kenyatta Clinic 23, and they could tell us, try to relax, because we all have the same problem. They will not favor you and the others have the same problem. You have to follow the line. This is something I'm thankful, yes, for my life. But we are so many. Will Justus be in a position to visit all these families? Will you be able to air all their cases out? Will everybody be there waiting for these stories? My cry is, I wish our government can also do something. So in as much as I'm thankful, I'm also on our government. I'm thankful for my supporters. I'm thankful for my encouragers. I'm thankful for those who took their time to listen. Because I also didn't know what I talked. I was so sleepy when you were taking my story. I could not eat for several days because the sleep could take me to a nausea environment that could not allow me to even know what tastes what. I could not even enjoy putting anything in my mouth. So in as much as I'm grateful to God and for such platforms and for such listeners, I'm also on our government. Can they have some forums that can follow up with such families? Getting such an exposure, I think it is just a concern of God, not that I'm any better. But since 2014, when I went to Naivasha, I went in January to Naivasha, and from then, in September, we got a baby with cerebral palsy that was thrown in one of the fields called Kehoto in Naivasha. And nobody was capable to take the child. It was a cerebral palsy child, totally dependent. But now we took the child to the ward, to the pediatric ward. And through this is how we came together as parents who are going for therapy in the Naivasha district. And we began a group. We call ourselves Naivasha Cerebral Palsy Support Group. I have been leading this group. I know some people can attest. I have appeared in several awareness walks. So I have been doing this, and since 2014 to date, we meet as parents. Sometimes we look for a preacher to come and preach to us. And I know I have bombarded in the offices. Like now, I remember one of the aspirants that is looking for the women lab in Nakuru passed by my place this week, actually this week. And with a very big team. So I first of all switched off the team and told them, nyinyi endeleeni kuuza sera zenu, but don't sell them to me. And even the person you are campaigning for, if they pass by here, I will tell her exactly what I'm telling you, because I've been into their offices, but they have given us a dump here. And me, I know Me, their families, we have shared whatever little I have. Not now that my story has gone to the public, but even before. Somebody comes, it's a woman who comes and tells you, Nimeka, I've stayed for 3 days without any job, and we have nothing to eat. Whatever you had, you just share. And now, in this group, we have been trying to reach the government. We have tried, I was there during the government of Kennedy Abogwa. We bombed in his office. I am here during this reign of Lee Kenyanjui. We have gone to his office. I even asked them whether it is our English that is not understandable on the letters we write, because they give us a deaf ear. So now, and as I'm speaking, I know if the Lord blesses me and enables me, I know I have been speaking to those people who are ambassadors there to allow us know there are things that are done for our children. They can be gathered somewhere and taken care of. If the Lord finds favor with me, I would like to implement for the government what we really have been desiring to see on the ground. Because it's like we are never understood. And since we are the shoe wearers, if the Lord blesses me today, I would like to show them what things they should put up in every county, in every sub-counties, because we are so many. And as you are hearing, some parents close their children in there like goats. And like I said the other time, nobody is supposed to point fingers at a parent that has tied their child in the house. You leave this child, you are going for a casual job, you leave them free, you get them fallen and hurting themselves. So you find tying them is the best thing. You go and come back and untie them as you are allowed. So I wouldn't like people to continue pointing fingers, because if people have not been there to understand what we need and try to implement it, and there is the capacity, our government have the capacity. Our government have the capacity. It is only that I don't know whether they listen to the fake needs or what, because they use us when they are doing their campaigns. And as I've said, those who are campaigning for that women lab, I told them, if she passes by here, I'll tell her exactly what I'm telling you. And she came. I told her, don't give me those things you are giving out, because you give us a deaf ear. Immediately you are elected and we have given you our needs. You have gone loud saying that once you get in, you remember the walemavu. When a parent have a special child, you are equally special or even more special. They use us as they are doing their campaigns. Then when they get in office, you even try to reach them. They don't even pretend to be knowing what you are talking about. So, as for me, if the Lord blesses me, I would like to go out and become a blessing to these parents, because I think we are more exposed to each other than anybody else. Because I understand what you go through. Some of our children doesn't even know how to open their mouths to be fed. You have to use a tactic to open the mouth, then you have to use a tactic to make them swallow. So telling some of our government aspirants and some of our politicians aspirants such things, when they are mentioning about the special needs people, they don't understand what we go through. So it's my prayer that if God blesses me, I will have such a place and become an example. Become an example of what our children should be, and of even if I'll be able to help like a few number, but be an example of what our children should be done for. Since my story aired, I'm very grateful that we get therapy. I'm very grateful that I no longer clean feces. I'm very grateful that I no longer clean clothes without soap. I'm also very grateful that I have not had the sarcastic talk of the house tent from our caretaker. And I have more than I can share I'm trusting God will take me to a place where the business will also flourish. And one thing I'm promising those people who have stood with me in any way, in way of financial support, in way of encouragement, in a way of just keep giving me hope, whichever way they have stood with. One thing I'm promising them is that they will not be disappointed through me, because I am trusting that this is God who began this work in me, and I am so sure that He will bring it to completion until I become a blessing to somebody else. I have more than I can testify. Because even being able to sleep, sometimes, even if I don't have somebody helping me, sometimes we will come from therapy and I will get that 1 hour to relax, because I was, as much as I was not sleeping, I was not also able to eat. So for my viewers, those who viewed my story the first time, you can tell this is not the same Beatrice you saw. And even the girl, Jemima, is not the same Jemima you saw. And in fact, my viewers, you should know we have been struggling to have balanced diet. We were affording ugali and sukuma all the time and changing with maybe rice and potatoes. But thank God today we can do some managus, those greens that are a bit expensive, and we can do a fruit for her. So feel blessed wherever you are, and whatever the Lord allows you to do for us, we still need much to get to a place where we can be independent. If I was in my own compound, I could do a chicken, maybe I do a goat for the milk, I do it's such things to just bring some incomes without feeling I'm leaving the baby, the Jemima out. Maybe which can enable me. The boy is also now going to the junior secondary. He is one of the pioneers in the CBC candidates. So I am looking at it that if today my supporters were not there, there are things that I am not still able to do for myself through the business. If there was now a place like the one I'm aspiring that we could have, you'll be taking your child. Maybe if it's those clothes, you go to the markets and sell them. The markets that are moving, where things are moving, you are selling in quantities. And maybe you are able to do your things without so much looking on the out. So I must say that the gaps are still there, but the God who brought this into beginning has a way out. To my fellow heroes, because this is how we call ourselves in the group, to my fellow mashujas, dear parents with such children, dear parents with children, especially with the cerebral palsy, who are totally bedridden, I would like to appeal to you to just open your hearts to God and allow Him to be, because He is the only one who can help you even to face the challenges, the daily challenges with your child. Accept this is a child that God has destined for a purpose in your life. And also accept that whether you are received by men or not, there is something that God is looking in your life. Encourage yourself to be able to serve them, because once you are discouraged, you will not be in a position to serve your child. And this is the greatest fight that I have gone through. The greatest fight that I have been trying to overcome every day of my breath is to encourage myself to be in a position to serve my child. And so, my dear heroes, I encourage you, please, encourage yourselves in the Lord. Take heart. Know that your child, before anybody else comes in, your child is looking on you. Your child is depending on you. Your efforts to serve your child will yield. One day, it will get to an ear that hears. It will get to an attentive heart. and God will do something. Please get yourself up and allow your mind, your heart, your strength, all your struggles to be able to serve your child. Please, any caregiver, any parent, don't give up. You're just about to see your dawn. I encourage you to look upon God and also know that a day is coming when He can decide to wipe your eyes tears, because He can do it. He has done it for me. There is an English saying that says that experience is the best teacher. But I would not love, actually sometimes when I'm seated alone, I keep saying that if there was a way that God could stop the births of special children, I plead with Him to stop. That now children can be born normal children that has no disability, because this is one of the, everybody has their challenges in life, but this is one of the difficult, most journey that one can experience. I would like to urge everyone that can hear this voice, or you are near by a person who has a child, or a person that is special, they are giving care, any kind of disability, kindly, you have a role. For the churches, I know if our churches came up and decided that they will take good care of these people, our churches are well able. Kindly, do not allow experience to become your teacher. Take it to be your responsibility. Allow it to flow from your heart, to be responsible about these special people. It's a very painful moment when you are a neighbor to somebody who is a caregiver or a parent to a special person, and you just ignore them. Sometimes even saying a word of hi. Yeah, you know, like that moment of wounding I have gone through before my healing moment came. I could see I'm seated out with my daughter and people are just passing by, even a word of hi. And when I see somebody come touch my daughter and say, Jemima, that could make my heart leap with joy. So you as a neighbor, you as a church goer, you as a Christian, as a passerby, if you say a disabled person, let me use that name, which many people like using, especially in Kikuyu, it's a very bad name. Whenever you see a special person, kindly, you are saying hi, or if it's a deaf, just waving at them. Whatever kind of disability, when you come across them, kindly, just let them feel the affection. As I have said, if there was a way that these people could be stopped from being birthed, and now we only give birth to the people who has no special needs, it could be so good. But now, because God sees in a different way, kindly work on your heart, work on your way of seeing things, work on your attitude, such that when you see these people, show them love. So whatever you would like done to you, as normal as you are, let it be done to these people. And God will bless you so much, because many people have ignored us. And let me tell you, it hurts. When you come to church with your child, they are smelling. Maybe you have not afforded, and nobody shows you concern. Tomorrow you feel like you don't want to go back there. Kindly, church people, preachers, mobilize your people, preach to them, let them love these people. We are here, and God has allowed us to stick around, and you don't know what it might bring during the judgment day. Kindly, love us, love the special people. To you who has never experienced such, you meet one across the road, just be kind to them, even if it's only by a word. And God will bless you. There is a very, very, very special group I must attack. This is an attack. And it's a painful attack. Our families, please. Please, our families, I call for families. Sometimes we feel so disowned when we get ourselves with such children, and much is said from the least sources we expect, like our families. Kindly, our families, we would not like any of you to go through what we go through. This is a very special call to families. Siblings, if you are born with sisters and brothers, and maybe you are married to a family where you have in-laws, parents, it's a deep call. Kindly accept us and don't put judgment on us. Sometimes it's the least praise you expect to get some rejection. Our families, please, I'm speaking on behalf of every family that has a special person, a special child. Kindly, our families, pay attention to us. Don't disown us. It is one of the painful things that families with special children are going through. Families disown you. Even when they are counting themselves, they don't count like you're one of them. I may be speaking on my behalf or on behalf of the other families with such siblings, but kindly families, we love you so much, and if anything that we would not love to see is to see any of our families go through what we go through. When you first reject us, you open a door for everyone else to reject us. But kindly, I beseech you by the mercies of God, families, in-laws, sisters, brothers, mothers, fathers, accept us.